Welcome to Monday Night Soccer, where we're live here at Queens Athletics Field. It's Frank Malvasso along with Joey Presta. Joey, 8 teams and 120 games later, here we are with the championship finale. This should be an interesting contest, Joey.
That's right, Frank. We got 2 teams here going to battle it out, 2 game total points. Italia Flyers finished second in the league. They had to reach the playoffs by defeating DAP Construction and Elliott Lake. Canadian Builders finished 4th in the league. They played in the playoffs, Croatian Adria and Polish White Eagles, and today they're playing for all the marbles and should be a great one.
All the marbles indeed. We'll be right back with live act. Welcome to Queens Athletics Field. We're live here for the first of a 2-game total point series to decide the championship for the Sudbury Men's Senior Soccer League. We've got Canadian Builders and the Italia Flyers. This is Frank Malvasso along with Joey Presta. Joey, we should have a very interesting contest this afternoon.
Well, we got 2 great teams going at it here, Frank, and as I said earlier, they finished 2nd in the league for the Flyers and 4th in the league for Canadian Builders. Both teams very talented clubs. They're right from the coaching staff up. They're good clubs. They're playing 2-game total points, and to explain that a bit to the viewers is what they get is three points for a win and 1 point for a tie. So if it ends up in a tie today, it stays that way, and then they play again tomorrow. And as I said, it's 3 points for a win and 1 point for a tie. 2-game total points. On the screen now you have your stats, and Croatian Adria finished 1st in the league with 32 points. Italia Flyers, as playing here today again, is in 2nd place, 27. Nickel City Lasers finished 3rd with 26. Canadian Builders with 25. Polish White Eagles at 16, along with DAP Construction. Elliott Lake United finished with 11 points, and Serbian Eagles, their first year in the league, finished with 4. So, as again, 2 real good, talented teams, and whichever team plays their game, and by that I mean that the Flyers play a very fast ball control game with lots of speed, whereas the Canadian Builders, being a little bit more experienced, like to slow the pace down, and whichever team plays their game should come out the winner.
Our referees for this afternoon's game, a referee in the center of the field, Bernie Andrews, linesperson Denise Carapi, and Fabio Belli. As we say, Joey, this should be an interesting contest. You can see the importance of this game. Mr. Andrews is pointing out some of the important rules that need to be followed in this contest. And both teams, I've seen them in the dressing room, are quite anxious and raring to go. As we said at the outset, virtually 120-some games later, it's come down to the Canadian Builders in blue and white. You see Pino Vacaturo on your screen, and the Italia Flyers in an all-white outfit this afternoon.
All right.
What you'll see on the screen right now is a matchup of the various team components between these two teams. The goalies, it's Brucic, the young goalie from Italia Flyers, against the veteran Robert Palladino, and we'll give the edge there to the Canadian Builders. On defense, we see a fairly balanced challenge. We've got Brian Ashton for the Flyers, along with Massimiliano, Barrett and Drigo against Prest, D'Agostino, so that's pretty well balanced. In the midfield, we're giving the edge to the Builders. Renato Nicolucci and Danny Palladino have dominated the midfield for this team and have done extremely well. In the striker position, we have given the edge to the Italia Flyers, mainly because of the talent of Danny Ashton and Danny Ashton and Mr. Joe Lamberti. So, we'll see whether, in fact, Canadian Builders do, in fact, have the edge, but I think all things taken into consideration, we've got a pretty tight game. As you can see, the game is underway, and it's Nicolucci for the Canadian Builders. That ball gets kicked out of bounds, so we'll have a goal kick. Joey, we should mention that we have two teams in the extreme in terms of age grouping. The Italia Flyers hovering at around age 19-20, and the Canadian Builders, who are probably the older team in this league and certainly more skilled at about 30. So we've got on average about a 10-year age gap, and that's an excellent combination to see the oldest, more mature team playing against the youngest, fastest, highly skilled, younger team in the league.
That's right, Frank, and both teams can play great soccer, and like I said before, whichever team plays their game and is capable of playing their game should come out the winner.
Ball's in the middle now to Tony Giorgio, a striker for the Canadian Builder teams, an excellent player, tries to put a through ball there to D'Agostino. Should mention that the pitch is extremely slippery, and so you'll see many of the players measuring their footsteps. Massimiliano now for the Flyers. Torrico tries to get it back to Massimiliano. Danny Palladino, we said, strong in the midfield for the Builders, and he intercepted. To Barrett. David Barrett. To Nicolucci. Canadian Builders controlling the midfield with Renato Nicolucci chipping it through. Off Corsi now, and it's Brian Ashton giving that one up to Giorgio, and shot taken there, but it looks like Ashton is able to clear the ball. In the event, the ball is in the end of the Builders, and Robert Palladino is able to scoop that one up quite easily.
Looks like Mario D'Agostino is going to see some action up front for the Builders today, Frank. That's possibly because they have Enrico Tarantalo that is suspended for a few games due to a red card, but Mario is very experienced up front also, and he's extremely good on defense, but he's very dangerous on offense also, so it should be no loss for the Builders by moving Mario D'Agostino up.
So that ball's out of play, and we'll have a throw in here for the Italia Flyers. Barrett back to Ashton. Brian Ashton, extremely talented player. I'd probably argue he's one of the best players in the league, and actually his diversity in terms of skills and ability allows him to play either the stopper role, the last defender role, or a striker role. Either way, he's comfortable.
Well, I think Vince Pinella moved him into that position about 3 games into the league, and I think it was a very wise move because he's talented and he's one of the veterans, and to be a veteran and in control, you should be playing back there where you can control the players in front of you, and you can let them know what's happening, and he reads the game really well. He's very experienced, and that to me is probably the best position for Brian on this team.
There you see number 21, Rob Sabatin, who played an excellent game against, who was that last game again?
Croatia Adria.
He did an extremely had an extremely effective game in terms of shutting out the Croatia team. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure they got much more than 1 or 2 shots. Got another throw in here for the Italia Flyers. Barrett. That gets intercepted there by Georgi. Passes it back to Pressat. Barrett coming in against Zulic. Joey Lombardi now slipping. We indicated it's pretty mucky out there. Ball goes through to Tony Georgi on the far side, trying to get Zulic, but number 12, Mr. Ashton, is there to intercept.
There's another actually good play by Brian. He knows that because his team is young and inexperienced, it's going to take him a little longer to get into the feel of the game. So taking no chances, he clears that ball out of danger.
So we've got Georgi over there passing it to Pressat. Pressat trying to reach the near side here. Riccio against Barrett. Barrett's there first. Zulic now heels it back nice to Tony Georgi. Georgi still with control of that ball. Back to Barrett. Barrett intercepted there by the Flyers. Palladino now gives that one up to Riccio. Danny Ashton now on the far side being challenged there by Sabadin, and it looks like we've got a throw in here for the Italia Flyers. Corsi back to Ashton. Ashton gives that one up unfortunately to Nicolucci, and that ball's out of play. Should mention, Joey, we got a number of brother combinations in this contest. Mention one of them to you. At this point, we've got Barrett on both sides of the field. David Barrett playing for the Canadian Builders, and his younger brother, looking for his name here, Jim Barrett, playing for the Italia Flyers.
That's right. We also have the Palladino brothers playing on the Canadian Builders team, and we have the Ashton brothers playing on the Flyers team.
So we've got 3 brother combinations, 2 playing on they're the same team, and one combination playing against each other.
What I'm noticing now, Frank, and hopefully the Flyers will change this, is that they're allowing the Canadian Builder midfielders a lot of time and space in the middle, and if they don't correct that, they will be in dire problems, because these players can do a lot of damage in the midfield if they're given the time and space. And what I've noticed now is that the Flyers are backing up a bit on them, and they're more content to defend rather than stop them at the midfield. So hopefully they'll change this.
Corsi now for the Flyers, being challenged by Georgi. D'Agostino now, Mario D'Agostino being obstructed there by Drigo. Builders will reap the benefit of a free kick.
We'll see that a lot, Rodrigo and D'Agostino today.
Sabadin now moving up from his defender role, chipping it through to Georgi. Tony Georgi gets it across to Sabadin now. Tries to get that ball through, but Brian Ashton is there. Brian Ashton pumping that ball forward. Tino Vacaturo against Danny Ashton, and he chips it back to Palladino, who's got to make contact with his foot there because of the pass back. Brother Danny Palladino now gives it off to Press, who in turn moves it to Nicolucci. Intercepted by Barrett. Punched forward by the Builders team. And Sabadin goes back to retrieve this ball. Pressed on the far side, nicely to the inside to Danny Palladino. Builders will play the middle of the field extensively in this game. Tony Georgi now. Looks like that might have gone out of bounds, and so the Flyers will get the throw in here. Enzo Bedetto now. Inside to Barrett. Bellucci now for the Builders. Intercepted by Drigo. Chris Shallens now punches it forward, and Sabadin gets the rebound off the Canadian Builders players. Sabadin looking at some options here. Fortunately gives that ball up to Barrett, and Barrett's not able to hold on to it, so we have another throw in.
Also, Frank, both these teams would be wise to play the ball on the wing. That's where the field is a little bit better, and not only that, but from the wing is where most of your attacks should be originating from. I know that Mike Dowling and I have commented on that a number of times, and it definitely is a fact that you should attack from the wings.
Riccio Lombardi here. Joe almost got this ball, but fails. Nicolucci now chipping it forward. Ryan Ashton is back there and passes it off to Massimiliano. Crest lets that run. Sabatin now the defender for the Builders. Passes it back to Palladino, and he'll punch this ball into the center of the field. Richard Corsi with all kinds of time and space. Get to the near side, number 10. Corsi back to Massimiliano. Massimiliano loses that ball to Nicolucci, and now it's Drigo back to Ashton. Brian Ashton now will try the other side. Barrett punching it forward to Enzo Benedetti, intercepted there by Palladino. Inside one more time to Tony Giorgi. Giorgi, a through ball to D'Agostino, but that doesn't get through. And it's now pressed. Zulich. Giorgi now at the ball, passing it back to number 7, Danny Palladino. And turns, puts it up the inside to Pressat. Nicolucci, nice ball to Giorgi, and that almost ends up in a game. Tony Giorgi with an effort there, but unfortunately gets it over the net.
That's a perfect example of what I was talking about. No one in the midfield has picked up Renato Nicolucci. No one is picking up the marking in the midfield, and you leave a player as like Renato Nicolucci free in the midfield, he's going to put balls through like that all night, and Renato knows what to do with the ball, and just fortunate for the Flyers that they didn't score on that occasion.
Bruchik now for the Flyers. Comes back to Pressat. Danny Ashton now with a lot of skill for the Flyers now. Number 8 on the far side. He's contending with 2 players. Unfortunately loses it. Referee has indicated obstruction here against Pressat. See a replay, Joe, of that last shot by Tony Giorgi.
There you see Renato with all kinds of time, and look at how nicely he puts that ball on the player's foot. Just slightly miskicked it and went over the bar, but very close to a goal. You have to pick up players in the midfield.
Sure, Tony Giorgi would have loved to have that one back. That ball looks like it's too far, so we'll have a goal kick here for the Canadian Builders. As we said, Joey, the midfield is a vulnerable area for the Flyers. And as you say, Nicolucci and Palladino are certainly going to take advantage of that and work the build-up and ultimately try to capitalize on that domination of the midfield.
Well, Frank, soccer's played with 11 men on the field, but probably, in my opinion, the most important people on the field are your midfielders. This is where the game of soccer is won and lost. If the midfielders are doing lots of work and distributing that ball, you're creating lots of scoring chances and you're defending well. The midfield must be a strong position on any good soccer team. And what we're seeing right now is that the Canadian Builders are getting a little too much time in the midfield, and it's a little too easy for them to move the ball around and distribute. The Flyers are going to have to pick up on that. Otherwise, it could be a long evening for them.
Richard Corsi is the man you see on your screen right now. The midfielder, as we speak about the midfield, Richard Corsi and Mr. Penn for the Italia Flyers are the 2 players playing the inside and outside, inside right and inside left positions of the midfield. And as we've said a few times, these 2 players are going to have to come up with a challenge against Nicolucci and Palladino. Otherwise, they may pay the price for that. Got another obstruction called here, called against the Canadian Builders team, so the Italia Flyers will enjoy a free kick.
Actually, Frank, the Flyers are playing with 4 midfielders. They've moved one of their wingers back a bit out on the outside, and they're playing with 4 midfielders and only 2 attackers. But I think that's going to change now because we see young Joey Lamberti in the game, and he's going to go up front. Now they'll be playing with a center forward. So both teams will now have 3 midfielders in the midfield.
Corsi now at that ball. Pass to Massimiliano. He's able to hold on to it. Unfortunately, it's not able to keep it in play, and so Nicolucci for the Builders will take the throw in. Back to Nicolucci with his back towards you. Chips it through, trying to reach Zulich. Does. Pass forward to D'Agostino. He gets it back to Zulich. Penn now. Ashton on the far side for the Flyers. Loses that. Zulich now passes back to Palladino. Palladino with a nice cross over here to Barrett. Barrett punching it towards the center, but referee Bernie Andrews has indicated a handball, and as a result, we will see a free kick awarded to the the Flyers team. Riccio now in the middle. Barrett retrieving that errant ball against Zulich. Barrett finally decides not to take any chances and just kicks it out of bounds.
Good safe thing to do. Let your midfielders come back and help on the defending. This could be a set play again. We've seen the Builders do this a number of times. A long throw in and the flick on.
Tony Giorgi now. This is dangerous. Finally, referee indicates an infraction against D'Agostino.
That's a good call by Bertie on that. He was right there, made the call a little bit too aggressive on Mario D'Agostino's part.
Ashton to Riccio. Riccio gives that one up to Nicolucci. Nicolucci the inside to Giorgi. Giorgi has some time pushing it through to D'Agostino. This could be a shot. And unfortunately, Brian Ashton gets in the way of that shot.
And again, we saw that ball come through from Renato Nicolucci. Again, like I say, he's getting tons of time in that midfield, and he's putting those balls through and getting some good scoring chances from it.
Enzo Pereira now for the Flyers on inside. Plays it nicely to Danny Ashton. Ashton with a lot of tricky moves. Unfortunately loses the ball on this occasion, and Prescott is able to kick it out of harm's way. Barrett now being bothered there by Zulich. Referee has indicated an infraction against, obstruction from behind, and so we'll see a throw-in, for the Flyers. Brian Ashton with the ball now on the touchline. That comes off of the Canadian Builder player, so we'll have another throw-in.
Kind of a dangerous play for a throw-in like that to go back to your sweeper. You got to be very certain of that because you're putting undue pressure on your sweeper. He's the last man back.
Barrett now. Ashton. Prescott's there. Brian Brother Ashton will retrieve this ball. Looks like he may have made a mistake there against D'Agostino. Ball went out of bounds, but it's given back to the Flyers. Brian Ashton now elects to throw this one back to the goalkeeper, to Brucic. Steven Brucic. Played for the Italia Flyers for a number of years. Fortunately gives that ball away to David Barrett. And it's Barrett now. Looks like he may have the outside track on this one. Still with control of that ball. Being bothered by Massimiliano. David looking for some support. Tries to get that ball through, but Mike Massimiliano does a good job of cutting off the angle there.
Good defending there by Massimiliano. Just what they call in soccer is just jockeying the player. Just making sure that he doesn't turn to the inside on you and having good defensive positioning on him.
Throw in here. Looks like Ricci will be there first. Ricci with a pass to Lamberti, and another obstruction call against the Canadian Builders team, and Flyers will enjoy another free kick. Brian Ashton, key player for the Flyers team and certainly a team leader. That ball gets through off of Joe Lamberti. Looks like it may not go out of bounds. Salins kicks it out of harm's way. Number 5, Chris Salins, not taking any chances against the talented Joe Lamberti on that side of the field.
The other thing that the Flyers are lacking is the height up front, which you know, a team like the Flyers can't really use the long throw-in or the long high corner kicks as well as maybe the Canadian Builders do. That's another advantage that the Canadian Builders might have on this young Flyer team.
Ashton now at the ball. Brian Ashton, he's got some talent, pushes it through nicely to Lamberti. Lamberti will take a shot. This could be dangerous. That's in! Joe Lamberti gets the first goal at the 18-minute mark in favor of the Canadian Builders. And you can see the excitement there. This is a very important goal for the Flyers. And in all fairness, the Canadian Builders, I think that was their first shot, Joey, on the Canadian Builders team.
That's right, Frank. We're going to get a replay on this, and you'll see the Canadian Builders stopped thinking it was offside, but it wasn't, and a good shot by Joey Lamberti with the left foot inside the corner. Young Palladino had no chance on that as a goaltender. But the goal was created by the sweeper, Brian Ashton, moving forward, and I've said this on a number of occasions. It's a great asset if a team has a player that can move it up from the defense to help the forwards. Most teams in soccer do have that nowadays, and it's a great asset. We see it there.
Nicolucci now for the Builders. Enzo Bedetti, Penn. Corsi gets it on the near side to Lamberti here again. One more time, Lamberti a through ball to Riccio. Riccio moving forward, tries to get that through to Ashton. Almost was successful in that attempt. Lamberti now giving that ball back to Riccio. This could be dangerous. Riccio taking a shot, but it's wide.
See, the confidence level in the Flyers has just gone up a few notches, Frank, and it was bound to happen once they scored that first goal. We're going to see if the Canadian Builders can rebound off of that. As we said earlier, it's a 2-game total point series, so it's far from over yet, but it's a good start for the Flyers.
So we've got a goal kick here for the Builders. Sabaton will do the honors. Builders in blue and white, and the Flyers in an all-white uniform this afternoon. We're live here at Queens Athletic Field with Table 7, Senior Men's Soccer at Queens Athletic Field. 2-game championship series to decide who wins it all in the Senior Men's Soccer League this year. Bit of a takedown there by Palladino, number 7, and Bernie Andrews awards a free kick. Approximately 3 yards out of the box. This could be a dangerous set play, Joey.
That's right. This is a very dangerous spot, and especially you got players like Ashton who can take that. And the ball being slick, a shot on net is always dangerous, and it's an unfortunate place to foul a player. You have to have real discipline and stay away from that sort of stuff. But let's see what Ashton can do on this one.
Brian Ashton, he can put top spin on this ball, and he tries with his right foot, but doesn't get it down.
That's exactly what he tried, was the outside spin and hoping to curl the outside corner of the net, but a little hard and a little high.
So with approximately 20 minutes gone in this first half of this 2-game championship series, the Italia Flyers enjoy a 1-0 lead at the 18-minute mark. Long ball into the Fire zone. It's Brian Ashton now chasing that ball. Decides to get it to Barrett. Barrett off of Palladino. Looks like it may have gone out of bounds. It has. So we will see a throw-in here by Barrett. Nicolucci now. Renato Nicolucci for the Builders on the inside to David Barrett. Tony Giorgi. Tony Giorgi has an opportunity at this. Still with the ball. Looking to turn. He does. Gets it in front. D'Agostino can't control it, unfortunately. A near opportunity for Canadian Builders. Well done by the Builders. Richard Corsi now streaking down the field. He's got Lamberti. This could be dangerous. Joe Lamberti with another breakaway. This is critical. Oh, a beautiful save by Palladino. Point blank by Joe Lamberti. Barrett now on the near side. Action getting fast and furious. You can see both teams are in this game.
Good counter-attacking there by the Flyers, utilizing their speed on the wing to Joey Lamberti. Okay, and well, here we see it on the replay. Here they go, breaking down the wing. Joey Lamberti gets a bit of a break there. Good hard shot coming up, and a great save by Palladino on that. Otherwise, it was a 2-0 game.
Beautiful save by Robert Palladino. Came to cover the angle, no hesitation. Wasn't at all afraid of that ball and did his job excellently. Throw it now right to Brujic. Steven Brujic, number 1, playing goal for the Canadian Builders. And he'll survey this situation as the Flyers enjoy a 1-0 lead in the first half of this 2-game championship round. Riccio now gets his foot on that ball, and it's out of touch. And David Barrett played his youth soccer with the Sudbury Hawks, Nickel City Lasers, back to the Hawks, and now is the property of the Canadian Builders. Throw in here to Pino Vacaturo. Riccio now with the ball for the Flyers, chipping it through, can't get it to Lamberti. Salins now, Chris Salins, number 5 for the Builders. That comes off of Riccio, so the Builders will get it right back, again in the form of a throw-in. Barrett giving it to Nicolucci. Renato here has a far throw. Decides to pass it to Zulich, back to Nicolucci. See the pool of water there. Ground is slippery. Pino Vacaturo now in the center of the field, gets it smartly to Sabatin. Sabatin, nice ball to D'Agostino, pushing it forward to Palladino, but Drigo is there, number 15 for the Italia Flyers team. Good job to intercept that through pass.
Always amazes me, Frank, on a throw-in, why the ball is always going back to the fellow who threw the ball in, and no team has really noticed this, I guess, and no one has picked up the player that's throwing it in. And even in the professional leagues, you see this happening over and over again, and it's always amazed me.
Bit of a scramble now from the net, but Brian Ashton is able to get it out of there. Nicolucci now with the ball. Looks like, unfortunately, he gives it up to Riccio. Reach it over here to Corsi. Corsi's going to pump it through again to Lamberti. Just can't get good wood. Good effort by Richard Corsi, but as we've said, this turf is slippery. Negotiating those terms is difficult to do. Danny Palladino now. Nicolucci, a combination that you'll see a lot of in this game. Riccio now with a through ball to Ashton. This could be dangerous. Palladino having to come up and make contact. Nice run by Robert Palladino. It's Zulich now on the far side, and Barrett. Young Chris Barrett not taking any chances of kicking that ball out of harm's way.
That was an excellent ball to Danny Ashton. I'm not sure how he got so free out there on that right wing, but very close to being a break.
Canadian, to say the Italia Flyers have two strikers in the form of Danny Ashton and Joe Lamberti, but they play the outside of the field. And sometimes, as you almost saw there, they get a breakaway by the long cross coming across the full length of the field. Barrett now for the Flyers. Bothered somewhat there by Zulich.
That's actually a good move by Vince Spinella, who's coached this team. Actually, this is, I think, his 10th year coaching these fellows, and he knows his players really well, and he also knows his opposition. And by putting four fellows in the midfield, he's probably hoping to gain control. He probably realizes he might be a bit weaker in the midfield than the Canadian Builders, so by putting that extra man there, it gives him a little more strength, Frank.
Rigo now coming up for that ball. Massimiliano, Joe Lamberti, nice pass to Riccio. Lamberti following from behind. Riccio now looking to get it through to Lamberti off his back with his heel. Lamberti still with the ball on the outside. He's got some moves here. He'll try to get in front of the net. And Dallins comes in, takes that ball up, but I think we've got ourselves a corner kick here in favor of the Italia Flyers.
Good defending there by the Canadian Builders. They were in a bit of a jam, and luckily they got two guys back to help out, and good defending there. Even though they gave away the corner kick, it's better than giving away a good scoring chance.
Riccio at the top of the box is Corsi punching it in the middle. Drigo, press. Finally, Georgie kicks it out. Brian Ashton with a little bit of time. He'll control that last defender position for the Italia Flyers.
Well, we have a bit of time, Frank. I'm going to maybe give a little bit of a wrap-up of the season, and we're seeing the final here, but the league winners for the senior men's premier division were Croatian Adria, and the Milan Vrab trophy was won by DAP Construction. The Charity Cup trophy was won by Canadian Builders. The Dieter Alisat trophy was won by Croatian Adria. And in the Premier Division, the leading scorer with 14 goals was young Dan Ashton of the Flyers here.
Mario D'Agostino now for the Canadian Builders. Very experienced veteran. Heels it back to Nicolucci. Nicolucci off of Drigo. Earns a throw in there for his team.
Yes, Frank. And also in the first division, the league winners were Rastals. The playoff winners were Serbian Eagles 2. The Charity Cup was won by Rastals. And the leading scorer in the first division was Steve Bites with 17 goals.
Tony Georgie now, he'll cross that ball. Drigo gets a foot on it. We're going to get a corner kick here in favor of the Canadian Builders.
And just to finish the wrap-up, Frank, last but not least, the under-15 division, the league winners were Italia Flyers B, and the playoff winners were Italia Flyers A. Leading scorer was Kyle Looney of the Flyers with 18 goals. And that wraps up the season for the senior men's soccer.
So at the 28-minute mark of this first half, Canadian Builders behind by 1 goal. Corner. D'Agostino couldn't get up on that ball. And we'll see a throw in here for the Flyers. Italia Flyers will get this ball back to the goalie. No. Danny Ashton on the far side now to Enzo Badetto. Badetto to the inside to Barrett. Barrett punches it through in the middle. It's Joe Lamberti now back to Corsi. Corsi, a long ball on the near side of Riccio, but that's a little bit too far. Italia Flyers trying to capitalize on the transition with some fast forwards in the form of Lamberti, Ashton, and Joe Riccio and Corsi coming up to play occasionally.
Well, speed is their game, Frank, and that's what they got to utilize.
Tony Giorgi now with the ball. Bothered a bit by Penn, gets it back to Nicolucci. That ball's out of play, so we'll have a throw in here for the Italia Flyers. Renato Nicolucci was on your screen there for a split second. Nicolucci up for that ball. Salins, Palladino, Giorgi passes smartly back to Nicolucci on the far side. Nice patch to Zulich, who lets that go to Pressat. Pressat to D'Agostino, nicely to the inside. Giorgi here with a lot of talent. Chips it forward to D'Agostino. He might have a chance at this, but Barrett is able to get in front of that ball.
Good strong build-up, some nice passing by the builders there to swing the play from left to right or right to left, and excellent soccer. Unfortunately, Mario, that ball was a bit high for him, couldn't finish it off, but that's a nice build-up by a nice experienced soccer team.
Palladino now at the corner. Chip up. Oh, nice chip by Zulich. Unfortunately, just caught the upper crossbar.
Again, we see the strength on the head balls by the Canadian builders. They're big, strong forwards, and they bring up big, strong defensemen for the corner kicks and also for the long throws. And they're very dangerous on these plays. Flyers are going to have to be very, very careful and not give up needless corner kicks or needless free kicks. Looks like we got some substitutions coming on, Frank. We got number 22 for the Flyers coming on. That's, I think, Stefanuto, along with number 11, who is Steven Riccio, another brother, I think.
Another brother act. Bruchik now with a kick. Nicolucci to center of the field. Renato Nicolucci off of Enzo Bedetto for the Flyers. Passed it through nicely. Corsi Lamberti. Riccio now on the near side. Barrett taking a little bit of time here. Nicely to Corsi. Corsi trying to hold on to that ball, but is unable to do so.
I think Corsi is the man at midfield that his job is to mark Renato, and it's not an easy job because Renato is a very experienced soccer player and knows how to get into the spaces, and his timing for getting into the spaces is great. So he's a difficult man to mark, but you have to mark him.
Nicolucci to D'Agostino. It's Mario D'Agostino, the far side. Drigo gets his foot on that ball and prevents a near opportunity for the Canadian builders.
That's right, and again, that came from the foot of Renato Nicolucci. Good through ball for D'Agostino.
So we'll have a throw in, and it'll be taken by Renato Nicolucci, and no, I'm sorry, it will not be. This is a far throw and well into the box now. Corsi not taking any chances, gets it out. Sabatin now will punch it back in. Referee indicates an offside, so we've got a free kick here awarded to the Italia Flyers.
Good safe play by the Flyers there. A nice offside trap that worked well. Linesman right on the spot there, or lineswoman, and that's what you got to do when you see that ball being kicked back in there. If you can get all your defense, it sure saves you a lot of running and a lot of headaches.
Steven Bruchik, the goalkeeper for the Italia Flyers, doesn't like the way that ball was positioned and resets it. Steven will take his time with this one. Cranks it into the air. Barrett's there first. David Barrett for the Canadian Builders. Loses that one. Sabatin having to come back. And it's Palladino's in front there. Sabatin doing a good job to get in front of Danny Ashton. Press now being challenged by Bedetto. That lost to Joe Lamberti. Joe Lamberti with this. You don't want him shooting at your net, and he takes a shot, but just wide. Italia Flyers with some key strikers, as we say. Joe Lamberti with Danny Ashton and Riccio and Corsi coming up, moving into the slots. These are the kind of players you don't want to allow to take free shots at your goalie.
Well, the Canadian Builders were protesting a bit on the play earlier to this because linesman had his flag up for an offside call. The referee just decided to play on, and actually referee made a good choice there, overruled the linesman. The ball went right into the goalie's hands, and no use stopping the play if you can give the team that has the ball advantage or the team that's not committed the foul advantage.
Robert Palladino was on your screen just a moment ago. He was down, and it looks like he has injured himself. There was no contact, I believe, Joey. I think what happened is he may have strained a muscle running out to retrieve that ball that was clearly out of play.
What he did, Frank, is he bent down to make sure that that ball was going clear of the post, and maybe as he bent down, he pulled a muscle either in the back or in the leg. He seems to be in an awful lot of pain, and hard to tell exactly what is the matter with him right now, but I'm sure he pulled a muscle. Oh, could be the leg.
Robert Palladino, as we said at the outset of this game, is a veteran, very experienced, talented goalkeeper. Actually is one of the premier goalkeepers in the league and has been for a good number of years. Was sparkling throughout his youth career. In fact, I'd even venture to say he was probably one of the top one or two goalies for almost a decade and a half. And he still is favoring what appears to be his right leg, either ankle or knee. And it goes without being said that I don't think the Canadian Builders want this player out of the field and are hoping very desperately that he can walk this off, because this would be clearly a loss for the Canadian Builders team.
That's right, Frank. Seems that they have no choice, though. It doesn't look like he can continue right now. And from what I understand, I just got the word that he had a previous injury in the previous game, and this could just be a reoccurrence. So he's trying to walk it off, but he looks in a lot of pain. I'd be very surprised to see him back in, and Walter Micheludi's pacing on the bench because he's not sure if he has a player that can fill in as a goaltender, but someone's going to have to do it.
So we've got a bit of a break in the action. We should mention to you that we're at about the 35-minute mark of the first half. Okay, Italia Flyers are in the lead with a goal at the 18th mark off the foot of Joe Lombardi, assisted by Brian Ashton. And Canadian Builders have had a couple of opportunities to score, so they're far from being out of this game. And what we'll do is we'll go to a commercial, Joey, and come right back and resume play.
The Royal Canadian Legion is a Canadian.
As to whether he'll come back or be replaced by the coach, Walter Micheludi.
It looks like he's re-aggravated an injury that occurred to him a couple of games ago, Frank, and Walter Micheludi apparently has got Marino Scarcelloni in the dressing room changing to play goaltender. Now, I hadn't seen Marino on the bench, and I wasn't sure if he was here or not, but apparently he is, and you'll see him coming out there now of the dressing room. And Marino is also an excellent goalkeeper, so I think Walter is pretty happy to have Marino, although I'm sure he would have loved to see Robbie Palladino continue. But Marino is a good goaltender, very experienced, and should fill in pretty nicely for Robbie. But hopefully Robbie's going to be all right because he's a great player and great person. So wish him all the luck.
So Marino Scarcelloni, veteran goalkeeper for the Canadian Builders, is replacing Robert Palladino, who's off at about the 35-minute mark as a result of what appears to be a leg injury. And unlike hockey, they don't get any warm-up shots, so we're right back into the action. And as you can see, we will have a throw-in here for the Italia Flyers. Renato Nicolucci on your screen now. Spark horse for the Canadian Builders team, and as we said, Canadian Builders are far from being out of this contest. Too much talent, too much experience to count them out this early in this game. Palladino now trying to get that ball to press to Georgie, back to press now. Nice move by Georgie. Press was still with control of that ball, chips it here on the far side with Dowling now in the play for the Builders. Pino giving that ball up to Riccio. And a bit of a challenge there, late challenge by Dowling, and so the Italia Flyers will enjoy a free kick. Steven Riccio, and there you see Mr. Dowling, who's on the pitch now for the Canadian Builders. We should mention that Dowling is a familiar name in the Senior Men's Soccer League. President is Mike Dowling, who's done an excellent job with the Senior League this year. Brian Ashton on the far side, number 12 against the veteran Mario D'Agostino. can see he's in a corner and quite smartly bounces it off Mario D'Agostino to get the goal kick. And the Italia Flyers will retrieve that ball as they enjoy a 1-0 lead at approximately the 39-minute mark of the first period.
Right, Frank, we got Sean Dowling in there now, and he's not wearing number 3 for Canadian Builders. He's come in to replace Robert Zulich in the midfield.
Steven Brucek, who has seen a few shots here, but nothing too serious that would warrant anything to be concerned about at this point in the game. Cranks that ball in the center. Nicolucci is up there. Drigo off the back of D'Agostino there. Dowling now. Stefanuto with a, looks like a referee, Bernie Andrews, has called a high foot against Mr. Dowling, so they'll get the benefit of a free kick. That comes to the near side to Steven Riccio, back to Mike Massimiliano, forward to Joe Lamberti now. Joe Lamberti here, Salins, Chris Salins, number 5.
Frank, we got to remind our viewers watching live of the trivia question coming up at halftime. Make sure that all you viewers watching live be ready by your phones for the trivia question that we have here every Monday night on Monday Night Soccer live from Cable 7.
Tony Giorgio. Giorgi moving up the far side, still with control of that ball for the Builders. Trying to get it to D'Agostino. He does. Mario D'Agostino trying to get it back to Giorgi, but it's intercepted by Enzo Badetto. D'Agostino still doing battle for that ball and gets it. Now to Giorgi, who loses it. Palladino now trying to move through. It's Penn, number 10 for the Italia Flyers, chipping it to Lamberti. Lamberti in this side to Ashton. Sabatin is there first, gets it to Prest. Far side now, Tony Giorgi with the ball. Got a little bit of space against Drigo. He's going to say he's a pretty talented player, but Drigo is able to get that ball away from him. Nicolucci in the middle, all by himself. Penn gets a piece of that ball, and that'll result in a corner kick for the Canadian Builders.
We also see both teams getting really stuck in there, Frank. By that, we mean that there are a lot of body contact going on. We all know that there's not that much supposed to be going on in soccer, but during the course of the game, as the period progresses or as the half progresses, players get a little more tired and a little more physical, and that's what's happening out there now, as we see a good scoring chance by the Builders again on a high cross, and Mario D'Agostino just failed to get that.
Mario D'Agostino, you can see he had his hands on his knees there. He had a clear shot at the net. Unfortunately, got a little high on the ball, deflected it down and wide of the goal. Italia Flyers, actually, the last 2 corner kicks allowed Mario to come right in there, and I don't know that you want to give him that kind of opportunities. In any event, it's Brujic now. Barrett's up there first. Tony Giorgi still with control of that ball. Nicolucci to D'Agostino one more time. Here comes the build-up. Mario D'Agostino still with control of that ball. Giorgi now, Tony Giorgi back to Bacaturo. Canadian Builders are almost back. I'm sorry, the Italia Flyers are back on their heels. Drigo trying to get Ashton. Sabatin's there first. Nicolucci. Nicolucci wisely passes on the outside to Palladino. Inside here to Giorgi, to Sabatin. Intercepted nicely there by Richard Corsi. Gets it out to Lombardi, but can't control that ball. High ball there, bit of an infraction against D'Agostino, and so we'll have a free kick awarded here in favor of the Canadian Builders. We've got about 2 minutes left in this first half, but with that injury to Robert Palladino, Mr. Andrews may elect to add a couple of minutes to this half, Joey.
I'm sure he will, Frank, and also the injury to Palladino has changed the game a bit. The Flyers were really coming on there in the first half until that injury, and now it seems that with the little time and rest that they've had in between the injury and that, the Canadian Builders have kind of regrouped, and they seem to be putting a little bit of pressure on.
Brian Ashton with that ball now, and he's got a lot of speed and a lot of skills. He chips that ball forward off of the Canadian Builder player, so we will see a corner kick here for the Italia Flyers.
There's here Brian Ashton running back to his defensive position, and the goal that was scored was actually scored by him moving up from his sweeper position. And Brian is a good player. We've mentioned that numerous times. He has the ability to move up, You have to pick your times, and that was a good move by him coming up on the wing, trying to get that ball across. Gets a corner kick out of it.
So we're ready for this corner kick now. It's Enzo Bedetto with this ball. See the Flyer players moving up. Low ball across the face. Drico trying to turn on that ball. It's Penn now. Chips it to the outside to Bedetto. Chips it on the inside nicely to Penn. Penn's going to try to cross this ball. He does. Looks like it went a bit far, but Riccio gets a shot at it, and unfortunately he can't turn it towards the goal. Good effort by the Italia Flyers.
Right there we saw a good, hard, low corner kick by Enzo Bedetto there, and basically that's what you got to do if you're the Flyer team, is keep that ball low, because they certainly are, the height advantage isn't there for them.
Rob Sabadin, central defender for the Canadian Builders team. Dowling now for the Builders. Bothered there by Massimiliano. Referee has indicated again a free kick in favor of the Canadian Builders. Renato Nicolucci will take the honors. Couple of minutes left in this first half. Nicolucci launches his ball well into the box, trying to get a flick back. It does. But Richard Corsi is there first for the Italia Flyers. Oh! Ooh, we've got a bit of a late challenge there by Barrett, and looks like we may see a card here to Mr. Barrett. Bernie Andrews showing the yellow card to David Barrett, who had a very late tackle on Richard Corsi.
In fact, that was a very late tackle, and Dave's not that type of player. I'm sure he knows that he done wrong, and he's walking back. He's got the yellow card. He doesn't want to get another yellow card. There's still another game. There's still a lot of soccer to be played here. Another half coming up and another game tomorrow, so he wants to stay away from that. And just a little bit of over-enthusiasm there, but players up and about, and
Richard Corsi doesn't look too bad for the circumstance, and you can see Brian Ashton on your screen ready to take this free kick. Ashton on the far side. Stefanuto now on the inside of Drigo. Drigo gives that ball. That could have been costly. Palladino now back to Giorgi to Palladino, but intercepted nicely by Stefanuto. So we'll see another throw in. Joey Bernie Andrews is looking at his clock there, so I'm assuming that we may get a whistle at any second now.
Well, there was quite a bit of stoppage in play when the goaltender got hurt, so you're looking at about 2 or 3 minutes, and he's got the time and a stopwatch, so he's the one that knows.
Renato Nicolucci now on the far side. Bit of an obstruction there and called in favor of the Canadian Builders. Renato Nicolucci will launch this ball, we assume, into the box as the Canadian Builders try to capitalize on this play late in the first half. That ball's up there, and again, number 3, Dowling for the Canadian Builders, almost gets his head on that ball.
Flyers aren't out of danger yet because the referee's pointing for a corner kick, and we know how dangerous these guys are on these high balls in the box. Goaltender's got to be very strong on this. Got to come out with both hands high and climbing over everyone and tucking that ball in.
Danny Palladino doing the honors. Builders have won these, got there first. The slow ball doesn't get through, and the Flyers are able to thwart an opportunity there and win a goal kick out of this. Brucic now would be wise to take his time, give his team a chance to recoup a bit here. Steven Brucic well into the Canadian Builders end. It's Palladino on the far side now, looking for D'Agostino. Stefanuto kicks it out of harm's way. Ball a little bit on the light side to get it to Mario D'Agostino. Danny Palladino to Tony Giorgi on the far side. Tony Giorgi trying to negotiate the turn, and Richard Corsi kicks it out of bounds, so we'll see another corner kick here for the Italia Flyers. This may very well be the last play of the half.
10 minutes, last 10
very
minutes.
Quick kick taken by the Canadian Builders. It's Prescott now takes a shot, and this is over the net.
What I was going to say, Frank, is the last 10 minutes, it's all been Canadian builders, and the Flyers are not attacking on the wing as they were, and they're not as aggressive as they were. They're not using their speed as they were, and they're going to allow the builders to get back into the game unless that whistle blows for halftime.
As we've said, this game is far from being over. The Italia Flyers team would be well advised to consider it a 0-0 game and play on that basis as opposed to rest on their heels a bit and assume they're going to win this 1-0. Bucic with a long ball in the center. Georgie's up there first. Riccio now back to Massimiliano. Mike Massimiliano now will kick that ball out of play.
Frank, this 2-game total points is a great system for the playoffs. I can recall way back in 1970 playing for Sudbury United. We had lost the first game, was on a Saturday afternoon to North Bay 5-0. Came back on Sunday and ended up beating them 7-0. So as you say, the game is never over, especially when it's a 2-game total points.
Ashton Sabatin get in front of it, and there's the whistle, the end of the first half. 1-0 in favor of the Italia Flyers. We'll be right back after these messages.
Just look at her. What a difference.
Can you see the light? Can you see the light of me shining in my eyes? Can you see the light? Can you see the light of me shining in my eyes? Well, you know I need you, baby, and I sure ain't gonna tell you no lie. Can you see the light? Can you see the light of warmth shining on my face? Can you see the light? Can you see the light of warmth shining on my face? Well, you know I want you, mama. Come on, girl, let's get on this place. Look out!
All right, and we have the winner for the trivia question answer, and the answer is the Canadian Builders, who is playing for it again today. The winner is David DeNoble of Sudbury. Congratulations to David. He wins a $50 gift certificate from Regency Bakery and Deli. Again, congratulations to David DeNoble on winning. To Adria for a dangerous play that put us up.
Can you see the light? Can you see the light? Can you see the light? Yeah.
Welcome back to Queens Park Field. We're live for the second half of the first of a 2-game championship round between the Italia Flyers and the Canadian Builders. This is Frank Malvasso along with Joey Presta, and we're almost ready to resume play here. Joey, maybe we can do a bit of a wrap-up as we set up the second half.
That's right, Frank. The first 20 minutes, very evenly matched game. Then at the 20-minute mark, we had Joey Lamberti breaking in on the left wing, and a good low shot, 1-0 for the Flyers. And after that, it seemed to be the Flyers taking control of the game until about the last 10 minutes in the half when due to an injury to Robert Palladino, the goaltender for the Canadian Builders. There was a bit of a lull in the action, and then when the action started back up, it looks like the Canadian Builders kind of got a second wind and started taking control. We're going to see what happens here in the second half.
Bit of an obstruction call there indicated by Mr. Bernie Andrews, so we'll see a free kick awarded to the Canadian Builders. Number 21, Sabaden. Rob Sabaden moving up to take this free kick. And as we said before in the first half, the Canadian Builders have come on in the last 15 minutes. We'll see if they can continue the momentum. Drigo punching that one back out. Joe Lamberti now kicking that ball back, but it's out of touch.
Both teams have made some changes, Frank. The Flyers have brought in number 3. Number 3 is Robert Rinaldi coming into the game, and number 14, Angelo Cicchetto. And the Canadian Builders have brought in Robert Zulich back and replacing Sean Dowling. So both teams making some changes at the half.
Sabaden now at the ball for the Builders. Robert Palladino moving up, being challenged there by Corsi. Back to Sabaden, who's moved up as a central defender. Nicolucci there being bothered by Cicchetto. Danny Ashton, a nice ball to number 14, Cicchetto, trying to put it through to Lamberti. He does. Joe Lamberti with that ball against Pino Vacaturo. Good matchup here. Lamberti now with the cross to the far side. It's Rinaldi now with a shot. Rinaldi takes a shot across the face of the goal. Italia Flyers trying to get that second very important goal in this game.
That was a lot closer than it looked, and I think it surprised the goaltender, Marino Scarcelotti, there, because it wasn't far off the post, and he thought it was going wide, and made the wise choice, actually, but it was very close.
Rob Sabaden now taking this free kick. Canadian Builders trying to even it up at 1 apiece. Massimiliano. Corsi now, Richard Corsi for the Flyers. Nice ball to the outside to Cicchetto. Danny Palladino is able to strip that ball away, and Cicchetto comes right back at him and kicks that ball out of play.
Good midfield action there by by Danny Palladino. He's good tackling and gets control of the ball for the Canadian Builders, and that's what I said before. Midfielders have to do that. That's where your game is won or lost, I think.
Press out to Georgie, nice effort by Stefanuto, number 22 on your screen there.
I think what the Canadian Builders would like to do is score early in the half, Frank, get themselves back into the game as quickly as possible, because as the half progresses, it just becomes harder and harder. This young Flyers team's in excellent physical shape, and they usually get stronger as the half progresses.
Nicolucci now at the ball on the near side. He'll cross this and cross the face of the goal. It's far post, and Brujic does well to get his hands on that ball. Barrett against Massimiliano. Stalins now with the ball. Nice pass to Palladino. Palladino here on the near side to Nicolucci. Cicchetto now. A couple of players up for the ball. Finally, it's Dan Palladino. Crosses it to Barrett. Barrett gets a piece of that ball, but unfortunately it goes a little bit too long for Mario D'Agostino, and as you can see, Brujic, the goalie, pumps that ball back out to Cicchetto. Gives that ball away, unfortunately, to Palladino. Drigo there to intercept for the Flyers. Pino Vacaturo now to Georgie. Palladino back to Georgie now. Georgie with a little bit of time and space, trying to get it through to Prescott. Corsi being bothered there by Georgie. Palladino comes in, and finally it's Stefanuto who punches that ball out of harm's way. Sabaden being bothered there by Ashton. Referee Bernie Andrews indicates an infraction in favor of the Builders. Rob Sabaden chips it into the box. Ashton going up, and that goes back towards the goal line for a goal kick for Canadian Builders. I'm sorry, referee Bernie Andrews indicates that it came off the Canadian Builders player, so it's actually a goal kick for the Flyers.
Actually there, Frank, I think what he was calling is a bit of a push. Canadian Builders threw a little bit of a push on Ashton, so that it's a free kick awarded, direct free kick awarded to the Flyers in the penalty area.
Stephen Brujic, who we should also mention plays for St. Charles College, is the goalkeeper here for the Italia Flyers team. Brian Ashton, also a graduate from St. Charles College, passes it smartly to Chiquetto. Chiquetto on the far side. Barrett coming back. Lombardi now against Pino Vacatura. Lombardi with a lot of speed trying to negotiate the turn. He does across it. And Marino, Mr. Marino does a good job. Marino Scarsaloni does a good job of getting his hand on that ball. Lombardi with a lot of speed on that far side. It's Corsi now. Corsi trying to make the turn. Chips it forward to Ashton. Brian Ashton against Prescott. Ashton with a lot of talent as well, but Scarsaloni is there to pounce on that ball.
Good job by Scarsaloni to come and cut off that ball. And as we see, the Flyers are attacking on the wing, and we know that that's where they're most successful when they do this.
Chiquetto now with the ball through to Ashton. Danny Ashton will take another crack at this across the face of the goal, and Sabanin gets a piece of that. Massimiliano, who's got the ball, takes a shot, but unfortunately it's wide and a bit of weak. Mike Massimiliano coming up from the defensive position, see him running back there, taking a crack at that ball.
Those quick counterattacks by the Flyers are catching the Canadian Builders coming out, and they get on their heels there, and I see that number 21 for them, Rob Sabin, is complaining a bit about the offside trap, but I think the linesperson was right on the line there, and she's the best person to tell on the field, and he better just get his timing right, otherwise they're going to get caught.
Rob Sabatin, high ball. Drigo's up there first. Chiquetto on the far side for the Flyers, number 3, having come on in the second half. Lombardi trying to reach that one, but unfortunately that's too far.
This offside trap, Frank, has got to be run. It's got to be run in a split second, because that, as soon as that ball is kicked forward, you are no longer offside. And the timing has to be right on, otherwise the offside trap is beaten.
Chiquetto now, Salasins gets a piece of that ball, and it's out of play. So we'll see a throw in here for the Flyers. It's Mike Massimiliano on the far side. Mike surveying his options here. Long throw in, trying to reach Joe Lombardi. Lombardi gets the ball. A little bit of space, chipping it through to Chiquetto. And number 5, Salasins, Chris Salasins, doing a good job of deflecting that ball out of play. Approximately 52 minutes gone in this game, and Italia Flyers enjoy a 1-0 lead at the foot of Joe Lombardi, 18th minute mark. Brian Ashton also assisting. Massimiliano now. Vacaturo punches it back out.
Looks like he's going to have to do it again here, Frank.
Mike Massimiliano, brother of Max, a player for Croatia Adria. Similar playing style. Brian Ashton now at this ball, moving forward from his defensive position against Nicolucci. Nicolucci cuts in front of him there. Quite rightly so. Mr. Bernie Andrews calls the infraction against Ashton, who came on the back of Nicolucci. Brian favoring his hand there. Looks like he may have fallen on his hand or wrist.
Well, if it's only a hand injury, it shouldn't be too serious, because as we all know, there's no real use for the hands in soccer, so it might just be a little bit painful, but it shouldn't upset his play at all.
Ball being played out of play by Richard Corsi, and the Canadian Builders will take this throw in. Number 6, David Barrett.
And again, watch for the flick on the near post on the long throw.
Barrett with the ball, trying to get it to Zulich. A couple of players up for that ball. It's Nicolucci punching it back in. Chiquetto now. Salazin, center. Drigo up there. Bert Drigo has got a lot of height. Joe Lombardi now loses that ball to Pressat. Pass it out to Salazin, who's doing a good job on the outside. Offside, says the linesman, so we'll have a free kick awarded to the Italia Flyer team.
That's a good young steady fullback they have there in that Bertie Drigo. He's done an excellent job on Mario D'Agostino today. Big, strong boy, and plays his position really well. He's a central defender, and it's not really a glamour position, but certainly he's done his job today.
Brian Ashton punches his ball in the center of the field, top of the box. Pressat's up there first. Looks like sorry, Penn gets a piece of that ball. Palladino on the inside of Pino Vacaturo. Vacaturo trying to negotiate a turn, but Corsi's there first, and Massimiliano takes the crack at that ball. That'll come out of play. See another throw in here for the Canadian Builders. Maritzo Pressat. Pass it through to Zulic, but Stefanuto does a good job of kicking it out of harm's way. Renato Nicolucci with the lucky number 13. This could be a long throw-in, as Renato is capable of these long throw-ins. Ashton, a couple of players going up. Palladino, he'll take a crack at this, and it's lobbed up, and a good effort by Dan Palladino. Brucic is there to grab that ball. Steven Brucic. Palladino on the inside. Barrett. Stefanuto now. Palladino again for Canadian Builders. Seen a lot of action. Danny Palladino playing the midfield. Number 7. A couple of players going at the ball on the far side. Salazan against Chiquetto. Bernie Andrews indicates a throw-in for the Flyers. Joe Lamberti. Pino Vacaturo prevails there and gets the ball to Nicolucci. Nicolucci to D'Agostino. Massimiliano for Flyers doesn't take any chances and cranks that ball out of harm's way.
Yeah, what we're seeing now is the Flyers just hanging on. They know that the Canadian Builders are going to come out there looking for the equalizer, and they're just hanging on and figure that if they can hold them off for the first 15 minutes or so, that Flyers will get stronger as they progress.
Tony Giorgio with his in a bit of a corner there, and finally it comes off of Penn. So we'll see a throw in here for the Italia Flyers. Renato Nicolucci moves in to take this. Again, as we say, he's got a long throw in, so this is for the most part the equivalent of a goal kick. Well into the box area. Flick back, but Ashton looks like he might get a shot at this. No. Bit of an obstruction called against D'Agostino in favor of the Italia Flyers. Brian Ashton getting up slowly there. You can see him holding on to his right leg. Looks like he's okay, though.
Yeah, it looks like he should be all right, Frank. And earlier on, I think he had injured his wrist, and now he seems to be holding on to his thigh, so could be a pulled muscle here. He's stretching it out there.
Brucic. Galucci's up there. Vacaturo. Far side to Salins. Massimiliano. It's Drigo there first. Corsi now. Nice through ball to Lamberti. Joe Lamberti on the far side. He's got the speed. He's got the left foot to the inside to no. Danny Ashton. Front of the net. Looks like he may have been obstructed a bit.
What a great opportunity that was, Frank. And again, created by that fullback moving forward. At that time, it was Bertie Drigo that moved up from his center half position to put that ball through on the left wing to Joey Lamberti. Lamberti with a nice low cross to Ashton. Ashton just failing to direct that into the net. But again, the fullback coming in to join the play creates a good scoring opportunity.
Tony Giorgi now with the ball. Far across. See if Barrett can retrieve it. He does. Gets a piece of it. Massimiliano's there for the Flyers. Being bothered there by number 23, D'Agostino. And finally, we have a throw in here in favor of Canadian Builders. Flyers coming very close to getting the second goal. Needless to say, the next goal will be a very important goal in this series. Barrett, Sulic. That comes back out again, so we'll have another throw in here for the Builders.
Have to do it again, Frank. And seems like the rain is holding off here today, and luckily for us it has, because the field is in bad condition. But without the rain, it's getting a chance to dry up a bit, and it certainly helps to see a bit of a better game when the field is dry, and the rain has held off for most of this game. Hopefully it'll continue to hold off, although the clouds are threatening. Substitution coming into the game, we have number 20 for the Flyers coming in. That's I'm looking for him on my sheet right now.
It's Riccio.
Oh yes, that's Claudio Riccio coming in.
Drigo up for that ball. Long throw in there by Salins. Chiquetto against Vacaturo. Chiquetto's up there. Sabatin will be there first. Corsi against Pressat. Pressat, good effort to turn that ball, chips it forward to Nicolucci, runs a little bit too far, but good effort by Pressat and the Canadian Builders.
Frank, actually it's Chiquetto that has been substituted, and he's sitting on the bench there. That Richo came in for Chiquetto. At number 3 on your screen is, or on your field is Robert Rinaldi. Two players that look very, very much alike and very similar in style, but looks like Vince Pinella is going to bring Claudio Ricci in, who is another very fast player, and hopefully will add some speed to the attack.
Goalie for the Italia Flyers will tee this one up. As you can see on your screen, Italia Flyers enjoy a 1-0 lead well into the second half. Bear it up for that ball. It's Brian Ashton now. Pumps it in the center of the field. Palladino trying to play it to the outside. Stefanuto now trying, I was going to say try, but he successfully kicks it out of play. Stefanuto doing a good job playing the defensive role for the Italia Flyers. Pressat against Riccio. Riccio gets his foot on that ball, so Pressat will take the throw in. Maurizio Pressat for the Canadian Builders, number 4, will take this throw in. Nicolucci there first. Nicolucci still with that ball, falls down, trying to hold it in, as you can see there. Finally, it's Stefanuto. Pressat now punches it back in on the far side. Mario D'Agostino trying to reach that ball for the Builders. Massimiliano against D'Agostino, and that ball gets kicked out of touch. Salasons now. Chris Salasons, watch the length of the throw-in of this young lad. Tree goes up there first. Massimiliano, spotted there by Giorgi. It's finally punched out to Lombardi. Sabadin is there to intercept. Palladino now. Penn for the Italia Flyers. Play a bit scrambly as both teams a little bit anxious, trying not to miscue in the center of the field. Danny Palladino with a little bit of space. Tries to get a through ball there, but Ashton intercepts. Brian Ashton moving up forward. Joe Lombardi a little bit to his inside. Ashton with a lot of speed and ball skill here. Punches it forward to Lombardi, but that comes off of Sabadin. And again, comes off of Salison, so the Flyers will get the benefit of this throw-in. Long throw-in to Ashton inside the box. Danny Ashton with the ball on the outside, still with control of that ball. Looking for support. Bit of a crowd of players there. And finally, the referee, Bernie Andrews, has indicated a free kick in favor of the Flyers team.
There's a case, Frank, where the defender, that's a bit of a mental mistake, because there's no reason to foul in that position. The player was actually going away from the net. He's no danger to you from scoring, and you're just allowing them to have a free kick. Now you got to back up 10 yards away and let these guys cross that ball. It's just a bit of a mental lapse on the defender there.
Sulic keeping that ball in for the Builders, but unfortunately it's given away to Stefanuto for the Flyers. Nice far ball, but Sabadin is there. Massimiliano will take a crack at this, but it's wide of the net. Italia Flyers putting the pressure on. It looks like the coach, Vince Pinella, may have talked the players into being more offensive in the second half, Joey.
Well, I'm sure his game plan was to hold off for the first 10 minutes or so, because he knew that the Canadian Builders were going to come out strong. They want to try and get the equalizer, and then hold off for the first 10 minutes and then press on. And it seems that that's what's been happening, and that's what they were probably told. As we see a substitution coming in, we have Pino Vacaturo going off, and number 19 for Canadian Builders coming on. That's Woody Chimino coming on as a defender. I'm sorry, as forward. So I believe who has Canadian Builders moved back on defense by doing this now?
Looks like D'Agostino's back there now. Well, I should know. Mario D'Agostino is still up playing striker. Sabadin now. Rob Sabadin for the Builders. Cranks this ball up there to Palladino against Riccio. Bernie Andrews indicates some obstruction against Riccio, so the Builders will enjoy a free kick here almost at the center line. Renato Nicolucci. Expect this ball to be punched into the box. Mario D'Agostino going up for this one and runs a little bit on the far side. Brujek to Chiquetto. Chiquetto trying to negotiate the turn. Lamberti now, Joe Lamberti on the inside, back to Chiquetto, back to Lamberti. Salazan's there first. Off for Nicolucci and back to Salazan. Cimino now loses that ball to Corsi. Corsi trying to get it through to Lamberti, but fails to do that. Ball being punched through for Zulich, but maybe a little bit too far, and Brian Ashton will hold on to this one. Brian Ashton with the ball now for the Flyers. He'll punch it up the center of the field. Renato Nicolucci there against Corsi. Giorgi on the inside of Palladino. Palladino still with control of that ball. Chiquetto now turns to the inside nicely. He's got Corsi to his right. Lamberti on the far left side. Salazan's being challenged by Lamberti, and the ball is played back by Sabatin, the goalkeeper, who kicks it out. Danny Ashton now on the near side. Builders continuing to put pressure on it. Riccio now with an opportunity. Back to Ashton. He'll take a shot at this. Doesn't get good wood, as we say, and ball comes all the way back here to Drigo. Bit of a rebound off of Woody Cimino. Massimiliano now still on the far side, trying to keep that ball in play. He does. Scott Lamberti to his left, still with control of that ball, and Sabatin is there first nicely for the Builders. Barrett gives that ball up to Chiquetto. On the inside of Corsi, Penn now for the Flyers, still putting pressure on the Builders. Tries to get the through ball there. Penn still with the ball, taken down from behind by Nicolucci unintentionally, but in any case it still amounts to a free kick for Flyers.
Free kick from outside the box is a little bit dangerous here for the Canadian Builders, but we saw a last rush there by Massimiliano. Was an excellent rush up the left wing there. He's a fullback again, running up to help the offense, and also did a good job to get back, because in the counterattack he actually ran back and helped get back into his position.
You can see the Italia Flyers conferring over the ball there. There's any one of a number of players that can do some interesting tricks with this ball. This should be an interesting set play by the Flyers. All kinds of instructions being issued there. Ashton takes a crack at this, and Marino Scarsoloni is able to hold on to that ball that bounces in front of him. Marino Scarsoloni, veteran goalkeeper for the Canadian Builders, well into the end zone of the Flyers, but it's headed out of touch. So
Frank,
we'll see a
we have a little bit of a coaching strategy going on here, and this is one thing that I really like about Walter as a coach. He's always in the game, very competitive coach. If you notice, what he's done is he's brought in Woody Cimino in and played him forward, and he's also kept Mario D'Agostino up, which gives him 4 forwards now, and he's moved with Renato Nicolucci back as a center defender. Probably telling Renato, yes, when you see the opportunity to move up into the play, go ahead. But he's looking for that equalizer, and this is a good strategy on his part, is to try and get that equalizer. And by moving Woody Cimino in and Mario D'Agostino up front, gives him one less defender, but with Renato Nicolucci and the experience he has, I think this is a good move.
Tony Giorgi holding that ball in, still with control of that ball for the Builders. Moves it to the top of the box. Zulich looking to turn with this ball. Zulich puts it to the outside to Barrett. See if Barrett can hang onto that ball. Unfortunately, he can't. So we'll have a throw in here for the Flyers. 69 minutes having expired in this game. Flyers still enjoy the 1-0 lead at the foot of Mr. Lamberti at the 18th minute mark. Also mentioned Brian Ashton assisted in that goal. Tony Giorgi now with this ball. He'll take a shot at this. A nice shot by Giorgi, just wide of the near post.
Yes, that was an excellent shot. He had the post picked all the way, and a good save by Brujek there on that one.
Tony Giorgi, number 10, former player for Laurentian University, and actually played an excellent series of games in the Cruiser Club tournament against some excellent teams from down south. We'll see if he can capitalize. Dan Palladino doing the honors here, chipping it forward, top of the box. Scores! Renato Nicolucci. This potentially happened. It did. Renato Nicolucci off the corner kick from Danny Palladino.
That's right, Frank. And I know we're repeating ourselves, but these Canadian builders, big, strong boys up in the air, and you give them corner kicks or free kicks in that area, you're going to end up paying. And this is about the fourth or fifth one they've had, and they've come close on a number of times, but that was an excellent goal by Renato Nicolucci, moving up from the defense area for a great head ball. All right, we're going to see the replay on this. You're going to see a perfect corner kick taken by Danny Palladino. Nice chip into the box. Renato Nicolucci runs onto it. Beautiful head ball. Goaltender, no chance on that. And we have a 1-1 game in this two-game total point series here.
Brian Ashton, brother Danny Ashton, comes off a press side, so we'll have a throw in here for the Flyers. Whole new game here as we have a tie. Ashton, Corsi now for the Flyers. Through ball. Rinaldi there against Barrett. Barrett is able to turn, chips that ball away. It's Corsi now with the ball. Richard Corsi for the Flyers. He'll take a shot at this. Tries to punch it through, but can't. Cimino now losing that to Stefanuto. Danny Ashton with the ball on the near side. Turning to the inside. Still with control. Trying to get it through to Lombardi. It's Corsi now doing battle in the center of the field with Sabatin. Salison, Barrett. Not taking any chances there. It's Brian Ashton now back. Ashton kicks that ball out of touch, so we'll have a throw in here for the Builders. Tony Giorgi off the foot of Stefanuto. So again, the Canadian Builders will have another throw in.
We knew this would be a good series, Frank, and it's proven to be that. It's exactly what we expected it to be. It's good, tight soccer, good skills. Both teams attacking well, lots of midfield work, and so far it's been an excellent game, and we're looking forward to tomorrow's game too also.
So we've got another throw in here for the Italia Flyers. Stefanuto will do the honors, number 22. Danny Ashton now with the ball. Stefanuto to the inside. Lombardi up there against Salison. Salison launching that ball in the air. D'Agostino now chipping it forward to Cimino. Drigo's back there. Bit of a battle in the center of the field. Finally, it gets loose to Riccio on the near side here. Riccio to Ashton. Pressad is there for the Builders to intercept. Danny Ashton to Richard Corsi. Corsi with the ball now turns to the inside. May have given it up to Nicolucci. Nicolucci back to Sabatin. Pressad now. Inside to Giorgi. Giorgi to Nicolucci. Bit of a build-up here for the Flyers. Nice long pass on the far side of Barrett. Barrett trying to hold that ball in against Massimiliano. Comes off of Barrett. Flyers get the throw in.
The battle of the number 6s out there, and looks like Massimiliano won that one.
Mike Massimiliano, left defender for the Italia Flyers team. Nicolucci now chips it in towards the center. It's Cimino now. He'll take a crack at this. Brujic, Steven Brujic's able to corral that one quite easily. Center of the field here, but Sabatin is there. Nicolucci nicely to Salison on the far side. Inside here to D'Agostino, who fortunately obstructs Drigo, so we'll have a free kick here to the Flyers. Brian Ashton. Bit of space here to Drigo in the middle. Loses it to Zulich. Giorgi back to Zulich, but Riccio's there first. Chips it towards the center to Lombardi. Drigo now loses that one, but regains it off the rebound from Barrett. Might have pushed that ball a little too far, and Salison's there to be able to kick it out of bounds. So with approximately 74 minutes gone in this contest, we have a 1-1 game here. And I think as we indicated before, this could end in a draw with both teams receiving 1 point, and which will leave it to the second game, which will be played tomorrow at 2 o'clock again here at Queens Athletic Field. But we still have a good 15 minutes, so it's not over by a long stretch yet. Stefanuto on the far side kicking it in harm's way. Well,
Some good attacking. We're seeing some good attacking from both teams, and good attacking and the defenseman moving up. And it looks like we've got a yellow card. I'm not sure who the player getting it is, but it was for an infraction that was committed a bit earlier. And who is Bernie talking to there? It looks like, well, I'm not going to even guess, but the infraction was committed a bit earlier, and he decided not to stop the play to give out the yellow card and just continue on, and he's issuing the yellow card now.
Salason's now who's going to take this throw in. Chris Salison, number 5 on the far side. He's got a very long throw in. This could be the equivalent of a literally a free kick. Be well into the box. Rebound back, good effort. Barrett now, Georgie, couple of players taking a crack at that ball. Press that now for the Builders. Turns nicely, takes a crack at this. Just wide of the net. Canadian Builders putting the pressure on.
That's right, Frank. And actually, the player that received the yellow card for our viewers, it was Woody Chimino, number 19 for the Canadian Builders, receiving that yellow. But again, we're seeing the long, high balls coming into the box, giving a lot of problems to the Italia Flyers. And they're not out of the woods yet, because here comes another corner kick from Danny Palladino.
You're right, Joey. The Builders have had the better play on these corner kicks, one resulting in a goal. We'll see what happens here. Nice chip. Couple of players. Oh, there's a shot. Oh, point blank shot by D'Agostino. Equally a fine save. This is still in the box. Brian Ashton with this ball. Nicolucci coming up to challenge. He does. Ashton prevails, though, and that's out of bounds.
Well, there are no championships won unless you get good goaltending in any sport, and that was an excellent save by young Steven Bruzek, and they got to come up big if they want to win these playoffs, and good goaltending there by him.
Throw in here for the Italia Flyers. Flyers having a lot of trouble with the corner kicks. For some reason are not first on the ball, and they could be possibly paying the price for that. Nice long ball over here, but it looks like Sabatin there might be there first. Prescott is. Gets bumped from behind by Ashton, so we'll see a free kick here to the Builders. Rob Sabatin now to Nicolucci. You can see all the Builders players, all 4, and sometimes 5 of them right up there with the defenders against the Italia Flyers. Nice cross here, far post. This is another dangerous one off the post. Mike D'Agostino takes a crack at this one. And there again, the Builders almost capitalized. Pressot now against Chimino against Stefanuto. Chimino prevails, back to Palladino. Riccio now. Palladino still with that ball, and Nicolucci. All the players poised in front of the net again. D'Agostino, linesman indicating an offside
call, Frank. We've got the Flyers on their toes, and unlike most other sports, there are no times out in soccer, and they're going to have to collect themselves. They need a leader on the field to kind of settle them in, because the way things are going now, they're on their heels.
Going to get a replay of this shot here. You'll see Tony Giorgi put this ball in front. D'Agostino, or there's a off the corner. And here comes another shot here. We'll see if this play will run. The ball will run a bit here, and it gets kicked out. I guess we didn't see the point-blank shot there, but anyway, Canadian Builders are putting a lot of pressure on the Italia Flyers. Italia Flyers, we might even be able to say, are a little bit lucky to be still in a 1-1 contest with the Canadian Builders. Danny Ashton now with an opportunity, takes a crack at this one, and gets it a little bit on the high side.
A little bit on the high side, but actually that was a good heads-up play by Danny Ashton. The goaltender was a little off his mark. He had 2 defenders coming at him. He got that shot away very quickly, and it was actually a good heads-up play by Danny. There was not much little else he could do there.
Canadian Builders having changed their style somewhat at the center point of this game, and has literally put up 4 strikers, abandoning the midfield, but they've got Nicolucci playing the stopper role in front of the defense, and he's launching long balls and into an almost 50-50 situation with 4 strikers playing against 4 defenders, and that's why they're getting the opportunities here.
We had a player change, and young Steven Riccio, number 11, has come in for the Flyers, and it looks like his brother Claudio Ricci has gone off, so I think Steven is a midfielder, so maybe Vince Pinella has picked up on what we were just talking about, Frank.
Stefanuto bumping a bit there with Penn. It's Danny Ashton trying to get it to Corsi. Corsi still coming through. Richard Corsi with Joe Lamberti on the far side. Corsi against Sabatin. Puts it to the inside of Lamberti. Lamberti trying to turn. Pushes it out smartly to Riccio. Riccio with an opportunity. Here comes a shot off of Marino. Scarcelloni. Another shot in the middle, and Scarcelloni is able to grab that one. End-to-end action here.
Yeah, no sooner had we said that about Steven Riccio coming in, and there he gets the beautiful opportunity there. Just couldn't get it over the sprawled goaltender, but also good goaltending by Scarcelloni on that.
Good action here in the finals of the senior men's two-game total point series. Couldn't ask for a better contest. Penn now kicking that ball. Penn, I think, hesitated a bit there, Joey, thinking that it was an offside call.
Offside call again. The linesman had the flag up. The referee thought that he'd let the play go on because it was advantage. The Flyer player would have had possession, but I think he just kind of hesitated a bit, thinking that the whistle was going to blow.
So we've got a throw in here for Zulich for the Canadian Builders. These are dangerous times when you're in the Flyers' end. Flyer Builders being able to capitalize. Enzo Benedetti getting this ball out. Nicolucci again in the center of the field. He'll launch another one in there. D'Agostino trying to flick on here. Corsi, Benedetto, it's Cimino now. Penn cranks it out. Got to be careful there. It's Lamberti now with an opportunity. Joe Lamberti on the far side against Salazan. And also Nicolucci. Lamberti with an opportunity, gets the ball through. Oh, a good effort by Joe Rinaldi. Unfortunately, just can't get past Sabat in there.
Good defending by the Canadian Builders. They supported each other really well there. Sabatin just waited for the move. His first defender went for the player, and once the ball was played through, Sabatin was there to collect it.
Georgie now chipping it through to Cimino. He's offside. Got some of our fans here over anxious, helping the referee out a little bit with their call. 82 minutes gone in this contest, and we've got a 1-1 game. Canadian Builders in blue and white, and the Italia Flyers in an all-white outfit this year. This game, I should say, not this year. Long ball, Pressot. Elects to head it out. Not taking any chances here. Enzo Benedetti, number 9, Pressot. Ashton pulling the sweater there of Pressot, so we'll have a free kick awarded to the Builders. Ernie Andrews indicating he wants that ball put back. Sabatin now for the Builders. Long ball. Trigo's up for it. Massimiliano. Barrett. Trigo one more time. Salazan gets a piece of that ball. Far side, Riccio moving up. He's got some space and time. Nicolucci backing off a bit there. On the inside to Enzo Benedetto. He's got a little bit of time. We're looking for Corsi on the near side here. Richard Corsi back to Benedetto. Ball doesn't get through, but Corsi gets the ball back. Richard Corsi with another effort at this. Still one more chance at this one, and again off of Palladino. A little bit of frustration there on Richard Corsi's part there, not being able to get that ball through. Well, we've got a bit of a break in the action. We'd like to bring to your attention the Indoor Soccer League, which is organized by the St. Charles Soccer Club. And we want to mention that this year they're starting in under 12, under 14, and under 16. And registration will take place Saturday, October the 5th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this will be at the St. Charles College Complex. So any young players interested in playing indoor soccer from ages 12 to 16, we'll say there'll be 3 different leagues there, are invited to attend the registration. Again, Saturday, October the 5th at St. Charles College between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Corner kick here for the Flyers.
That's right, Frank. And staying with that theme, we'd like to mention also that I know it's a little early, but next year in June, the All-Ontario for the high school soccer is going to be held here in Sudbury. We're hosting it, so I know Lloyd Ribeiro is pretty excited about that, and should be some great soccer in June of next summer.
High ball in the air. Ashton going up against a couple of players. Gets bumped there. Ashton bumps the Canadian Builders player. So we'll have a free kick here. Just following through in the Indoor Soccer League are the adult division. First meeting will take place October the 9th at 7 p.m. and should see about 16 teams there. If you're at all interested in indoor soccer, we would suggest you get a hold of Mr. Lloyd Ribeiro or John Sikora at St. Charles College. Drigo now up there for the Flyers. Zulich with the far ball on the far side, too far. So we've got a throw in here for the Flyers. Approximately 5 minutes left in this contest. 1-1 tie, first game of a total point series for the championship of the Senior Men's Soccer League. Barrett, Drigo doing battle with D'Agostino. Looks like Drigo might prevail. He doesn't. It's Zulich now to Palladino. Palladino on the outside of Barrett. He's got a little bit of space here. Things are kind of tightening up a bit here. Tony Giorgi gives that one up to Massimiliano. Massimiliano with all kinds of time and space on the far side, being chased by Barrett. Moving forward, still with control of that ball. Gets it to Lombardi, but Salson does a good job to get a foot on that ball. Riccio now will take a shot at this for the Flyers. Loses that ball. Palladino now with a through ball to D'Agostino. It might be a little bit too long. And Brujic, Steven Brujic, the goalkeeper for the Flyers, gives that one up to Palladino. Danny Palladino trying to corral that ball, but Corsi's on his back a bit. Massimiliano gives that one to Nicolucci. Both teams panicking a bit here with some long passes that are less than accurate. D'Agostino with a cross. Zulich might get a chance at this. Unfortunately, he's not able to, but he'll try to turn on this. Zulich still with possession of that ball. Gets it to Pressat. Pressat. Of course, he does a good job in getting in front of that one.
Good defending. We're seeing some real good defending from both teams, Frank. I'm really impressed with both defenses. Young Bertie has been a tower of strength back there. He's playing central defender. He's done a great job on D'Agostino. He's played a real strong game. Massimiliano at the left full-back position has played a great game. Stefanuto very solid back there. And same thing with the Canadian Builders. Good, strong defending by Sabrin Prasad. And number 5 out there, who is Chris Salems, has played some great soccer. Unfortunately, I think the midfield for the Italia Flyers has got to be a bit stronger, as you said in your picks early in the game. You gave the edge to Canadian Builders, and I think this game kind of does prove that they're a touch stronger in the midfield. But we're seeing some excellent defense from both teams.
Both teams playing extremely well. We've got about 3 minutes left in this contest. Needless to say, neither team wanting to make a mistake, but at the same time hoping to capitalize and get that 1-goal difference that'll put them in front in this series. Stefanuto chip back, Pressat's there. Enzo Benedetto now gets the better half of that ball. Benedetto still with that ball, chips it over here. Nicolucci doing a fantastic job in front of that one. Ashton now, Danny Ashton, trying to turn against Palladino. Mr. Palladino, number 7 on your screen there, a veteran, very experienced player, not about to give anything away. Ashton again against Palladino, and see the same result. Palladino putting that ball out of play. Brian Ashton now comes into the play to take this throw in. Palladino up there one more time. Woody Cimino against Penn. Cimino, Penn gets his foot on that first. It's Lombardi now chipping it to the inside, but Barrett's there. That ball comes through. Stefanuto. Palladino. D'Agostino now. It's Massimiliano in front of that one. Massimiliano being clipped there from behind unintentionally by Mr. Cimino. See Bernie Andrews talking to Woody there, but I think for the most part that was unintentional.
Well, the referee's having a bit of a chat with him, and I'm sure he's told him that he's already got himself a yellow card, and one more yellow, he's out of the game. So I'm sure the referee has made him aware of that.
Brian Ashton with a long ball. Nicolucci, Drigo with that ball, chips it forward. Sabatin. Corsi now trying to get it to the outside to Penn. He does. Eric Penn trying to hold on to the ball, and Palladino again, very strong in the midfield, coming in to take that ball away. Robert Palladino, number 7, doing an excellent job there for the Builders. Cimino now. D'Agostino chipping it forward here to Zulich. Bit of a race here for it, and Whoa, a bit of a bump from behind.
That's our ball anyway. It's our ball. We never touched it.
And where referee has called a throw in here for, well, let's see what's happening here. A bit of a debate as to whose ball this is. Zulich now, it's Canadian Builders who get this throw in to New Jersey, and that's the end of the game after 90 minutes. It's a 1-1 contest. We want to mention to you that the second half of this two-game total series will be played tomorrow at 2 o'clock, again live here at Queens Athletic Field. We also want to mention to you that right after this game we will see the 25th anniversary of the Sudbury Theatre Center. And last but certainly not least, we want to mention our response line to you, 560-9448. Any comments, suggestions you might have would be appreciated. This is Frank Malvasso along with Joey Presta. We'll see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock on Cable 7.